to begin.
Yeah, on now. Hello everyone, I'm Chelsea from the IT team, and I'd like to welcome you to this year's virtual hackathon. This ceremony and the final round are being live streamed on YouTube on the link in the chat. First and foremost, I would like to acknowledge the Bedegal and Gadigal people whose land UNSW resides on. I pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. If you are the first person here today, I acknowledge you and all the traditional owners of the country throughout Australia. Secondly, I just want to let you know that my preferred gender pronouns are she and her. Please share your own by changing your Zoom or Slack name if you are comfortable doing so. Our hackathon theme this year is After the Storm. Our participants had to create a technical product or service that helps locals or organisations to combat Australia's natural disasters. This strategy must be feasible, deployable, and scalable. Over the past 2 days, you've all worked extremely hard on your products and presentations. You've coded and presented, attended mentoring sessions and workshops, and at the end, pitched your products to industry representatives. Perhaps more importantly, you've thought deeply about the climate challenges that face Australians today and created a solution that could bring real benefits to how we deal with natural disasters. So now on to Gabby.
I would just like to introduce our judges for the finalist round. So to judge our top 6 teams, we're lucky to be joined by Alison Hare from IBM, Laura L from the MCIC, Scott Joseph from Google, Sarah Lawrence from Nine, and Jasmine Crawford Hill from Elite Assessments, who does have a lot of experience in the volunteer and disaster relief area. So I would just like to let each Alison, Alison, Laura, Scott, Sarah, and Jasmine to introduce themselves. So we'll start with Alison. You can unmute yourself and have a quick hello.
Hi guys, firstly, thank you for inviting me to this super exciting event. I love hackathons and I love some of the ideas that can come out of them. So I hope everyone that's participated today has had an amazing time and learned something new, most importantly. So my name's Ali. I am a developer advocate at IBM. I have worked in startups. I actually started a startup out of a hackathon. So some good news there. And I've worked at corporates and currently working at IBM.
Perfect, thank you. And Laura, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for having me here tonight, and congratulations to everybody that completed the hackathon this weekend. I know what it's like to be involved in a hackathon, and virtually is a whole nother level. So well done to everybody. I can't wait to see your pictures. I am the program manager of MCIC Foundations, part of the Founders Program at UNSW. It's the free entrepreneurship department at the uni that all staff, students and alumni have access to for support for their entrepreneurial journey. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing the pictures and very much looking forward to hopefully seeing some of you over the next few years at the Founders Program. Thanks.
Thank you. Scott, do you want to give us a quick introduction?
Hi everyone, my name is Scott Joseph. I'm looking forward to all the presentations and hopefully you had fun at the hackathon. So I am from actually the New York City office. I was there for about 6 years and I decided to do a rotation in Sydney as a site reliability engineer. And now I'm back to being a senior software engineer at Google.
Perfect, thank you, Scott. Sarah, do you want to give yourself a quick introduction, say hello?
Hi everyone, thanks for having me along tonight. My name is Sarah. I'm a senior software engineer from Nine, one of Australia's biggest media companies, where I work with a team of awesome developers on the Nine Now branch. I'm super passionate about hackathons and I'm super keen to see all the ideas you've come up with.
Awesome, thank you, Sarah. And finally, Jasmine, would you like to also have a quick hello and introduce yourself for the teams?
Awesome. So my name is Jasmine, also known as Jazz. I have 15 years of working in specialized secure nuclear instrumentation and control computers and the algorithms that allow those to operate on an autopilot. I also have over 10 years working as a commander for disaster plans and emergency plans and actually executing emergency exercises. So I did 6 deployments over the most recent disaster through the bushfires. I've also done a lot of work in regional security and consultancy around building up expertise in really niche areas of technology. So how do government departments, how do particular companies build up in areas, and my current area is around artificial intelligence, and how do we get some coherency across different government departments on that. So a couple of different hats in different areas, but one of them is over a decade of deploying to things like bushfires and floods.
Perfect. Honestly, thank you so much. We are so lucky to be joined by representatives from such a wide range of companies with such rich experience in all different areas of both technology and within the theme today. So I'll just pass on to Chelsea to re-announce our finalists so we can introduce the teams who will be presenting for everybody.
Yeah, so now I have the pleasure of reintroducing the finalists. Congratulations to Woman, Spearfish, Fruitloop, Good Team, Debugging, and Please Give Us Internship. So the finalists will have 8 minutes to present their pitch and to demonstrate their prototype. Then there will be 4 minutes for questions from the floor. Good luck, and we look forward to hearing your presentations. So
Alrighty.
Team 1 is up first.
Yeah, so Woman, you guys will be presenting first. So could you share screen to share your slides?
Yeah, give me a
I think
sec.
Felicia will stop sharing screen. Yeah, perfect.
Sorry, it's just loading into full screen.
All good. Alrighty, so I'll also be timekeeping for today. So when you guys have when 7 minutes have passed and you have 1 minute left of your presentation, in the Zoom chat, I'll send a message to everyone saying 1 minute to go. And then with 15 seconds to go, I'll send another message notifying you of this.
Cool.
And then we'll open up the floor to the judges to ask any questions. And yeah.
Excellent. Sorry, it's taking a little while to load into full screen. All right. How's the emulate? So,
Sorry?
is the emulator ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, cool. Let me share screen then. Can you guys see that?
Not yet.
Not yet, no.
Okay. Let me try again. Sorry, classic technical difficulties at the at the crux moment. All right.
Yeah.
This should be all right now. Okay.
If it doesn't work, would another member of your team be able to try and share screen?
Can you guys see this now?
Oh, yep. it hasn't loaded yet, but does say that we are viewing your screen.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, cool.
Alrighty, so we'll just start the timer. Just check all judges are ready. Yep. Okay, and teams are ready.
Yep.
Alrighty, perfect. We'll start the timer once you start talking.
Perfect.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Jenny and I'm here with Clarissa and Selina, and we are IT Women. And the project that we're bringing you today is called Evacuaid. But before we get into it, I just want you to meet Selina, a primary school teacher who lives on the New South Wales North Coast, an area that's very prone to bushfires. She's paraplegic and thus in an emergency situation, she's unable to escape as easily and would need help to evacuate. On the other hand, meet James. James is a rescue worker who wants to be able to find those in danger as quickly as possible. But there seems to be some sort of disconnection between these two. For some context, Australia is the most disaster-prone country in the world, having close to 18% of people having a disability. It is only recognised in the past 5 years, however, that disability is being included in natural disaster rescue protocols. Research has also shown that people with disabilities are up to 4 times more likely to be killed or injured during disasters than others. Despite all that, however, IP Women believes that everyone deserves an equal chance. And so we've come up with Evacuaid, a disaster relief mobile application for those who are disabled. Through Evacuaid, users are able to alert their loved ones and emergency services to their location and determine the quickest route to an evacuation location.
Yeah. So the way our app works is with this help button. So on a long press, it will alert emergency services to the user's location. There are usually 2 main scenarios when this button will be pressed. One just before a natural disaster, in which the app will direct emergency services to the user's house, and also during the actual natural disaster, in which the app will direct both emergency services and the user to the nearest safe evacuation location. So the route determined is dependent on the user's disability and the type of disaster as well, both of which can be obtained through the app. So we'll show you a live demo of the app that we've created. So hopefully you guys can see that. So as you can see here, a long press is required for you to alert the emergency services so you don't misclick. And also, even after you've long pressed on it, there's also an undo button that lets you go back to this page. Of course, after your long press, this snack bar will eventually go away, indicating that you've alerted emergency services already. And that time, markers will be placed on the map, one showing your location and the other one showing the destination location. So ideally, there would be a route between these 2 markers, obviously, but unfortunately, the directions API from Google is actually paid for, so we couldn't really use that for the hackathon. We also have a notifications page that shows you warnings from your local area, and also a profile page with personal information, including the medical information that gets sent to emergency services when you press the alert button. We have also made our app compatible with a couple of accessibility features, such as text-to-speech and contrast colors, which Jenny will now demonstrate.
So now I have the app installed on my phone and I'm turning on talkback or text-to-speech.
Talkback on.
So this is for the visual impaired people who need to know what the functionalities of each button does.
Profile, button, alert, double tap to activate.
So it shows the functionality, and we've done this in particular
Notifications button, double tap to activate.
Since it is an app for people who need.
Help button, double tap to activate, double tap and hold to long press.
And yeah.
Yeah, cool. So obviously this is all from the user's perspective. So in the future, we would like to develop the app in terms of the emergency service personnel's perspective as well, by integrating it with services like ICEMS, which is a cross-platform communication system between emergency services that allows them to share information between each other. So yeah, back to Clarissa.
Perfect. So as you guys should be able to see, with an app like this, our previous people, Selina, can feel secure that services are notified of her emergency and are aware of her location and mobility concerns, while James was able to perform his job to the best of his ability with streamlined information. So now I'll just be talking a little bit more about our implementation and our business model. So we believe that Evacuaid will be fully deployable in 18 months. And how we're going to do this is we're going to split this into 3 different stages. So our first stage will consist of conducting market research, which includes confirming accessibility requirements are met, consulting with emergency services, and then we'll be building and testing a prototype and marketing to early adopters. And doing this in this time frame will allow us to start testing before bushfire season is completely in swing. And stage 2 and 3 will just be iterating through this process before a second marketing push just prior to deployment in January of 2022. So the way that we're going to launch this is we're going to first launch in the New South Wales mid-north coast. And the reason we're doing that is because this area is regularly one of the most affected populated areas in Australia by natural disasters. So what we want to do is we want to analyze the effectiveness within this focus group first, with feedback on application and user testing and testing with emergency services systems in this small area, before we then roll out across the state and then roll out nationally. Yeah, so Evacuaid is affordable, sustainable, and scalable. We estimate technical costs to come around $50,000 with some additional costs for maintenance and maybe, you know, changing stuff with iterations. Additional costs we're estimating from third-party costs, just marketing, legal insurance. So this is like branding, SEO, advertisements. And we are assuming that education and system adoption costs are going to be covered by the emergency services. So it's not something we're going to need to worry about. Yeah, so we aim to achieve government support, and this is to verify legitimacy with the public and scale efficiently, as well as to train and upgrade emergency service systems. And our incentive for this for them is the fact that they're going to save a lot on medical costs, which I can elaborate further in the future. We've calculated some, you know, cost saving strategies. In terms of challenges and mitigations, there's some feedback somewhere if someone can please mute. So obviously the first main concern is privacy, and we're going to handle this by storing all our data locally and with it only being sent in an emergency and with encryption between all parties. We'll handle acquisition by mainly using a network effect and partnering with emergency services. And in terms of stuff like cross-functional compatibility, we are prioritizing a mobile application currently, as it is the most likely device to be kept on person, as well as the fact that mobile devices have more limited real estate, so it makes more sense to develop that first. Cool. So what's next? We do believe that Evacuaid is quite scalable. So we're using Flutter for our front end, and this uses one code base for both iOS and Android, as well as the fact that it has many highly scalable widgets. And you know, future features that we do want to implement include things like crowdsourcing. So potentially crowdsourcing obstacles, so it can pinpoint parts in the map that you can't access, and we can reroute the safest paths for these people to be evacuated, as well as sending SMS alerts to listed emergency contacts so they know what's happening, and further accessibility functionality such as voice input. We think it'll also be great if we can include more integration with apps like Get Prepared, so people, you know how to handle the path before a natural disaster strikes. So
Thank
that
you
is,
very much,
yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was a great presentation, very impressive. So that wraps it up time-wise. I'd now like to open the floor to the judges to start asking questions.
Sure.
Hi, Jasmine here. So at the moment, I do agree with you, speaking from experience of the last 6 months, that a mobile phone is most likely to stay with them, but it does look like it's dependent on data or Wi-Fi. Catches we saw down the south coast, if you saw the news, was that was actually what got taken down, was the cell towers were either damaged or destroyed, or lost power themselves. And so we lost not just the cellular network, but actually the landline network in places like Narooma and Bateman's Bay. Is that something, again, that you think that there would be a way to potentially address?
Yeah, so this is something we have considered. I will admit that we haven't really explored this path too much because, you know, obviously with time constraints and we are targeting something quite niche right now. I guess in the future, we can sort of look at trying to incorporate the satellite network or piggybacking on some of the government fail-safe networks if we do end up working with government services. So that is definitely something that we're going to be looking into in the future. But as of right now, we don't have an immediate solution.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Ali here.
Hello.
Great presentation, so thank you for sharing that with us. Just wondering, your tech stack, sorry, you said you're using Flutter. Are you using any kind of backend or API system at the moment, our database?
So currently most of our app is just mostly front end due to time constraints, obviously. But in the future, we're thinking of integrating a lot more APIs, like Clarissa mentioned as well, by integrating like other apps and also like other Google APIs, like the Directions API, hopefully. Also in terms of the backend, we were thinking of like doing cloud, so like using microservices like AWS as well to like deal with the backend. Yeah.
Okay, thanks guys. One more question, if I may. Is this targeted specifically at those who identify as disabled?
Yes, so our app is targeted towards those who are disabled, and this is mostly because there are alarming statistics that show that people who are disabled haven't really been considered when it comes to natural disaster relief. So as we mentioned before, although almost 20% of Australians are disabled, although almost 20% of Australians are disabled, there's like, it hasn't really been hasn't been considered in relief protocols until in the last 5 years. And yeah, it's just something that hasn't really been considered. So we really want to hone in on that so they do have an equal chance of, making it out.
And the volunteers you speak of that would go and help them, are they volunteers or are they specific emergency services, and that's what you want to integrate with?
So our aim is to integrate with emergency services.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I have a question about where you're planning on testing. So, or what situations you might test in that weren't a fully blown bushfire. Have you thought through what some initial testing situations could be?
Yes, so let me just go back to this slide. Okay, so as I mentioned, we do want to launch in an area that has experienced a lot of these struggles before, because obviously they'll be able to give us the best feedback. In our timeline, we mentioned that we were trying to get this the first push and the first testing and first feedback before the first bushfire, like the bushfire season starts to come in, starts to come in full effect. So I think our plan is to sort of run a lot of simulations and test this across emergency service systems in that area first to see if it works, and sort of run through simulated scenarios and scenarios with people who do have disabilities and might find themselves in that situation even a few months later. So, I mean, we're not really waiting for something bad to happen and testing to see if it works. We do want to run these simulations and want to, test it in a safe environment first with people who know what the experience is like.
Perfect, thank you. Unless there's any other burning questions, that's all the time we have for Team Woman. So once again, a huge congratulations. Good job, guys. Very impressed with what you've done. And yeah, we look forward to seeing where it could take you potentially.
Thanks, Gabrielle.
Thank you.
Let me stop sharing real quick.
Yeah, thank you. So our next team up is Spearfish. So if you guys can share your screen.
Yeah,
sweet.
sure thing.
We'll just get this going.
Yeah. Is this screen or?
Yeah, no, it's that one, click that one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Can everyone see our screen just fine?
Yep, it's all good. It's all there, perfect. So I'll just give I just need to check if all the judges are already finishing writing any feedback or any notes from the past presentation.
I'll introduce it.
If it counts in time.
Alrighty, judges, are we all ready, or would you like another minute or so? Okay.
Not streamed.
To YouTube. Yeah.
Alrighty. If all the judges are ready, can I just, once they're ready, just to raise their hand in the Zoom chat? Yep, perfect. Good to go. Alrighty. Cool. In that case, Team Spearfish, you can begin once you're ready. Yep.
Hi everyone, my name is Eric, this is Marcus, this is Bayse, along with Anthony, we're Spearfish. One of the most vivid memories I have from my childhood is when my silly younger brother broke his leg falling down a staircase. Luckily, my family was able to call an ambulance by dialing 000, and they arrived within minutes of our phone call. In this way, emergency services are critical in our everyday life. Not just ambulances, but also police and the fire department, who are a mere phone call away. However, this is not an option during natural disasters. Cellular towers can go down, yet these are really the times when we need the emergency service requests the most. What's the net result of this? It's first responders who cannot act as efficiently and quickly as they normally can. The problem of cellular towers going down is not a niche problem either. From strong winds to seismic activity, regardless of what the natural disaster may be, cellular towers going down is a very frequent problem. Take the Hurricane Katrina in 2012, for example. Over 1,000 cell towers went down, which made up about 30% of the cell towers in the region. Millions of calls were prevented, and even weeks after the natural disaster, 350,000 people were still left without phone call service. So that's no access to police, ambulances, or the fire department. Of course, there are existing alternatives. Radio and satellite communication exist, however, that's limited to between emergency aid teams, that's not accessible to the public. In recent years, companies started bringing drone technology to deliver first aid packages, but yet these aren't quite solutions to the problem that we're looking at either. Luckily, we do have a solution, Wave, one tap to save your life. Wave takes advantage of the previously mentioned initiatives to allow anyone to contact emergency services. By installing the Wave mobile app, members of the public can piggyback off nearby phones, drones, and first responder satellite phones to make phone calls to emergency services. And this is without cellular access, mobile data, or an internet connection, just their phones and their phones alone.
Consider this. Meet Bayse. Bayse was in Brisbane during the devastating flash floods. Water was rising quickly around her and she was trapped. She could not get out, could not open her door. Immediately, she reached for her phone and dialed 000. But little did she know that the cell towers were damaged and the first responders could not be reached. She needed urgent help. But luckily, Bayse had Wave. And with a single tap, she knew that help was on the way and that it was only a matter of time before first responders would arrive with appropriate equipment to rescue her. You may be wondering, how did the first responders get to Bayse so quickly?
Well, Wave employs Wi-Fi Direct as its primary technology, which essentially allows devices to establish a peer-to-peer connection, even in situations where we don't have access to cellular data, mobile data, or even an internet connection. And you might be wondering, what differentiates this from the Bluetooth technology that we use in our day-to-day lives? Well, Wi-Fi Direct allows for a transmission speed up to 10 times faster than Bluetooth 5, and also has a significantly greater range of 200 meters. When time is of the essence, and a few minutes is the difference that it takes when it comes to saving a life, this is a really ideal solution. So to get our services to the people who need it the most, we've reached out to leading tech companies in drone development, such as DJI and Parrot, with hopes that we can eventually integrate our technology into theirs to allow for deployment in the situations that call for this.
For a moment, we'd just like to demonstrate quickly how this would work. So let's take this phone here as the droid, for example. So it will be receiving the victim's request. You can clearly see that it's pending and waiting for a signal. So here we also have the phone of the sender. I hope you can see clearly. There's a button down here. If we press here, it actually begins the call and gives you a 5-second window where you can tap anywhere on the screen to cancel the call like so. But for demonstration purposes, we will proceed with the call. So triggering that and then just giving the 5-second window.
And this is without any cellular connection, mobile data, internet, anything like that.
Yep, so that's being turned off on this phone.
So we can see that it's currently broadcasting a signal. It's a bit hard to see, I know. Just a moment.
Let it go again. Try it again.
Yep. Just a moment.
You try it again.
Oh, it got picked up.
Yep.
Yeah, but we'll do it again,
yeah.
just for the sake
Sorry
of
about that.
showing it again. You turn your Wi-Fi on.
Yep, just a moment.
Cool.
Yep, there you
Press
go.
it.
So I'll launch that again. So we see the call from the sender going out to the drone. The drone. Yep, just a moment.
Should go on.
Yep.
Okay, I know what's happening. Just try it one more time, and if it doesn't work, we'll just move on.
Yep.
It is a prototype that we only pulled up within 24 hours. Sorry about that. I should go through this time, hopefully. There we go.
There you go.
Now this phone has picked up Bayse's phone.
And from here, I can actually see that someone's picked up my call.
That's well.
Yep.
And if you go on the website link down there at the bottom there, we had a screenshot earlier. What that will show is in live, that signal being sent, it's accessible to the first responders through that web portal. So the backend, front end, it's all there. It's a prototype based on free technology and free hosting. So it is a little unreliable at the moment.
Today, we have completed an MVP within 24 hours, and we've already reached out to correspondents with drone companies, leading drone companies such as DJI and Parrot. And within the next few months, we plan to secure more exclusive deals and extend our feature set. So things such as sending your medical information through like an encrypted gateway, and also to help better communicate your needs. And we plan to finish government proposals and integrate with operating systems to make it more accessible. So hopefully, beginning next year, we can have a product launch so that we can save lives as soon as possible.
It does seem magical, but we can get this done within half a year because the technology behind it is actually very, very simple. Now, Wave will save relief efforts millions of dollars in temporary network establishment and give companies an opportunity to demonstrate technology. Like Bayse have mentioned earlier, we are already in contact with drone companies like DJI who are eager to get on board with programs like this for marketing purposes. As we estimate our technical and marketing costs to be only under $67,000, these funds will be more than enough to keep Wave going. Regulations, that was the big consideration. We've checked them thoroughly and are pending green light from an Australian civil lawyer, which we have already emailed. We've gone through the laws, green light, we can work in practice.
Oh, okay, sorry. So I asked, so basically what we can offer is exclusive partnerships and deals. So by pairing up with these organizations that we've already established a connection with, we will be the first to be able to market these and therefore have a better integration with their technology that will run more seamlessly when it's really put into practice in the field.
Cool, and that's it. That's us. Wave by Spearfish.
Thank you so much.
For listening.
Thank you, guys. That was a great presentation and within the time limits as well. So very impressive with that. I'll now pass on to the judges and open up the floor to them. Scott, you didn't have a chance to ask a question for the last team. So do you want to begin?
Sure. So when you're talking about costs, did that include the cost of these drones that you need?
No, so the cost does not include the drones. We strongly believe that DJI and other drone companies will be more than eager to get on board a program like this to demonstrate their capabilities. They have been doing that for years, and there's no reason why they would say no to an opportunity like this.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Any other questions?
Hi, team. I'm going to jump in there. great presentation. I'm also going to ask a question about costs. You guys had a figure in one of your slides that was your expected costs. Can you give a little bit of a breakdown of where what makes up that cost and where that is coming from?
Sure, certainly. So amongst the $67,000, $30,000 of that is based on development costs. Development costs are actually very, very simple. This is based on existing phone technology. We're not developing anything new. We're leveraging existing technology to provide value. So we estimate only $30,000, which is the average standard minimum viable product cost. On top of that, we expect to have around $30,000 spent on marketing. It's going to be really important for us to get those customers as quickly as possible. Now, the last $7,000 come from ongoing costs and just a backdrop that we can rely on in case any hosting costs, website hosting, all these additional costs which we know are going to incur throughout the cost of this development. Was that enough, Sarah?
Yeah, great, thanks.
Awesome, thank you very much. Be happy to answer any questions on how this works or what its potential capabilities are, what we plan on doing with this product. Happy to answer anything.
Are there existing apps that do something similar?
Hi, Scott. So we are aware of a product which tries something similar. It was by a weather broadcasting station called a mesh network. It's for a very different purpose, and it is not in use today because they tried to use it to broadcast weather news to people, and people just weren't using it for that purpose. We think in the context of emergency situations, this is a necessity. This is a necessary product that people are going to use.
Thanks again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just want to ask.
Where we've seen a product like this. Sorry. Yeah.
Yep. You're good. I wanted to ask about your business model.
Right.
I don't know if your slide is there again, but where do you think you actually create the value? You've said that you're going to save, groups certain amount of money and so forth, but and I'm probably not as good to speak to this as perhaps Jasmine is, but we know that government departments don't necessarily work together. And so where you might be saving, some resource in one place doesn't necessarily mean that they're willing to pay for it to begin with. Yes. Who would you target first?
Yes.
And how do you think that you'll convince them to pay you for your service?
Yes, 100%. So we plan on doing our initial testing around rural areas where there is very minimal cellular network to demonstrate to the government the potential behind this technology. Now, you've asked where we're going to be saving them money. So after a natural disaster, they have to set up temporary cell towers again to open a communication network. We're saving that entire cost. They can slow that down because they need a lot of funds dedicated in that geographical region within a short period of time. They can redistribute those funds and slowly bring the communication network back up to speed while we take care of the infrastructure in a very cheap way using existing technology. That was a very good question. Thank you, Laura.
So we probably have time for one more question if any of the judges have any lingering questions.
I'm good.
Alrighty. In that case, thank you so much, Team Spearfish.
Thank you very much,
Once again, great presentation and great app and demo, all very impressive. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that's all good. So the next team that we have up is going to be Team Fruitloop. So if Team Fruitloop could please share their screen when ready. And just get everything prepared while the judges make their final comments.
Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Cool. Right, just let us know that if the judges are ready.
Yep, all good. I'll just give the judges probably one more minute to finalize any notes that they need to make.
Cool. Hi.
Alrighty. Judges, are we all good? Yep.
Good, thank you.
Okay,
Iris,
yep,
Young,
perfect.
how are you guys going? Ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah, Iris?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we'll get started. So hello everyone, good evening. We are Fruitloop. I'm Julie.
I'm Iris.
I'm Bob.
Yeah, so this is our platform's name, E8. So today we're here to presenting the platform we made during the hackathon, which aims to help people and organizations after natural disasters.
And we will talk about problem statement, show the demo, tech stack, business model, and some SWOT analysis today. So let's talk about problem statement.
So after researching online, we found there are some common problems people or organizations face after natural disasters. But yet, they have solution. We list them as following problem statement. First, for an individual user, they often struggle to find who can help them. And second, they might find who can help them, but don't know how to connect to those organizations. Third, for organizations, they don't know how to reach out victims. And last, accessibility when there is a lack of infrastructure. For example, no internet to ask for help.
Okay, so we have those problems, how we solve them with our platform. Let's see with the demo. I will walk through that with a use case example. Can everybody see the website?
Yep.
Yep, good. So let's assume I am a person that actually just suffered from, let's say, bushfire. I never explained this before. I don't know who I should go to. I want to find organizations who will help me, for example, charity or government, but I don't know what charities there are and who I can turn to. Or I want to find I have some services I need. For example, I need food, I need water, I need essentials, but I can't walk up to calls. I don't have transport. Also, I need some counseling, how to deal with my current situation. I need somebody to plan out this for me. Then I just go to this E8 website. So by providing them my accurate information through a form, but also we support SMS. So you can also message us through this number with a certain format. I think messengers are very user-friendly because if the internet is down due to some flood or typhoon, whatever, you don't have internet, you can only message. Or say if you are elderly, you're not comfortable with web page, then you just test us, no problem. So let's have a look at the form. All right, so you can provide us your information. We're thinking at a new field called driver's license. We just try to make sure there's no vicious bot that exploit our website. So identification. And then contact information, how those organizations or service providers can reach you, can help you. And you can click here to say, I want to stay anonymous. Then we won't post your form in the forum. We'll post it, but stay anonymous. So we'll show you information. And now the disasters, what disaster have you been through? Bushfire, flood, drought, and other. Tell me what it is. What it is. And then services, we will show the services providers we actually connecting with the services. Accommodation, for example, I just lost my house, or I want to get some essentials, I don't know where I can buy them, or I need a consult to talk about my situation. So I click them, and those requests will be stored in our database and intelligently distributed to the responsive organizations or service providers. And also, okay, here is government welfare. Yeah, them, I please also send the request to the government. And then if I want to provide more information, for example, I say, oh, this is really bad house on fire, and then some details just really bad. Like I want to tell people what's going on, and also I can upload some photos to show them and click them and then submit. So all the information will be stored in a database, and our backend will help people. We'll send out the request to the organizations we work with to see how they can help this person, and the response should be fast. All right, so the form, we also at our website, we also list a bunch of common natural disasters, and people's form will go through here. It's like a little forum where we can see what people just said here. And also we're thinking like have a button here to say, oh, this problem actually resolved, and by which organization. And then, yeah, this is our front end, fancy front end. Now this is a service we provided, and people can see what organizations or service providers we work with. So I think that's for our demo. We'll go back to our slides with tech stack. Yeah.
To build this fancy website, we use React frontend and connected to the Express backend. Our data was stored in a database in JSON format. To finish the send SMS part, which we haven't implemented yet, we will use the SMS API to receive message as data to fill in the form. Next, we will talk about some business model.
Right, so it's very important how a business can get sustainable income to maintain their website and probably grow bigger. So our focus is organizations referral. Obviously, we won't charge victims. So the idea is if you want to go to our platform and say you provide the service, you pay us some money. But the problem is why the organization will come to our platform, like why they do that. So because the users, our website users, they just experience the catastrophe, and they won't be picky. They just want essentials as fast as possible. They want things that they are in like a desperate situation. So if you come, you just don't really need to advertise. You just say your service is good, and they're probably gonna pick you. And I think we will negotiate with them to say, could you please make your goods like at a discount to sell them, because we have a large amount of user base, and also our users really want to buy things. So I think we'll, by negotiating and networking with organizations, we'll have more users will prefer our platform, and with more organizations who come to join our platform. So that's the basic idea. We'll also like to see government support or donors. Sorry, are we running out of time?
Yeah, sorry, that's it. That's time's up. Sorry. So once again, good job, great presentation, and great demo as well. So I'll just open the floor up to the judges to ask any questions that they have.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for the presentation. Quick question on your technical implementation here. Currently, it's only a front-end website, is that correct?
We have our backend also.
So it is connected to a database. I could enter details into your website and that would go into your database now and be refetched by the website?
Not very much, like the mechanism is not very mature, but yeah.
Okay, thank you. And the second question is around your business model. How are you looking to keep this funded? You're looking to partner with organizations?
Yeah, organizations and service providers. Should
So
I
they would be hotels, or what sort of organizations are you talking about that would
example,
fund this?
or accommodation service provider, motel, hotel, any like private, I don't know, housing providers like that. So they don't have visibility online. If you Google, they won't appear in top 10, but they are willing to help. Then they can give you a pretty good service with like cheap price. Yeah. So I believe they are happy to join us. And definitely we will validate whether they are like a fraud or something. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, services providers, for example, counseling and also healthcare, and yeah, I think essentials. Not sure they want to buy things from Coast, but maybe they can, but like, can they buy very cheap price, or also do they have to negotiate with transports? We just done everything for them. If they want service, we'll just find either any service provider and networking with us, we just provide to them. Save their energy and effort, time.
Thanks so much for this great presentation. I saw there was an anonymous feature.
Yeah.
So I guess how will the person be able to receive help if they click anonymous?
So yeah, so we'll definitely have those information. So your name, address, and contact information, also your identification, will store them in a database. But also we have something like a little forum where you maybe want to share your feelings, or you use the service and then your problem got resolved. You want to say some feedback like that. It's like a small forum. So for example, they are happy to provide the information, but this one is anonymous. We don't show their address or contact details.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Just a quick one, it's Jasmine here. So thank you again for your presentation. Just one around the SMS and how that would work. So if they're SMSing because we haven't got enough bandwidth in order to be able to use the internet and use the web page, how would that work back? Is there prompts? Just those categories don't seem very clear. If I got one saying government, what is your government? I wouldn't understand that I need to say whether I'm a private individual or a company. So just how would that work is not clear from your presentation.
Yeah, we didn't really go into too much about tech stack here. So I'm thinking we can rent a cloud server that hosts API endpoint provided by what is called like services provide ISP like that. Yeah, so they don't use internet. They can just message us, and then we'll just be directed to the Telstra API, and that like ISP API, let's say Telstra API, SMS API, and then that will direct to our cloud. Then we'll get information.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Team Fruitloop. That wraps up the time that we have for any Q&A.
Okay.
Great presentation and demo. Thank you very much, guys, and good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so our next team who is presenting is Good Team. So if Good Team could get themselves ready, just while the judges deliberate. So Good Team, just make sure that you are prepping your that you have all your slides ready to share. Okay, and just checking, judges, how are we looking? Are we all ready, or? Okay, all good. Sorry, good team. I think your slides stopped sharing for a minute. Do you want to put them back up?
Yep, just 1 second.
Yeah, all good. Perfect. Okay. Judges, we're ready now.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Give generously to those in need. Give giver. In 2020, there were over $500 million donated to the Australian bushfires. However, only 20% of this funding was able to help victims due to the funds being delayed. A major problem faced by these charities is an inconsistent funding model. These organizations have insufficient cash to assist in the prevention of natural disasters, but even when donations come in, they're so tied up in red tape that they can't be used immediately. So, how can we encourage Australians to give to disaster relief regularly so that funds are available in times of need?
I'm Bay from the Good Team, consisting of Jocelyn, which you heard from earlier, Kevin, and Peter. As the Good Team, we've created Giver, a virtual piggy bank optimized for mobile and smart devices. By leveraging an uptick in the usage of virtual assistants and hands-free mobile navigation, we have developed a prototype using Google Speech API that addresses the concerns of sustainability for ad hoc donations in the long run, whilst allowing young families to teach their children the virtue of giving. Through this application, parents are motivated to implement a system which allows all family members to contribute to a virtual money pool. Take the classic swear jar, for example, where families establish rules to instill good morals. Had a long day at work and the easiest way of letting it out was using profanity? That's $1 into Giver, your new swear jar. Stepped on a piece of Lego and unthinkingly cursed out loud? That's another $1 into Giver. Long gone are the days of physical currency. Instead, what we have done through Giver is completely virtualize the experience of contributing to a swear jar. So then, how might a swear jar get emptied, you might ask? Well, I've got you covered. Through Giver, families are able to schedule emptying sessions gathered around the dinner table on a weekly, fortnightly, or monthly basis. Not only does this encourage families to bond together, but also allows children to be introduced to financing concepts and inherit a sense of internal gratification for being able to support charities in need. At each emptying session, families are encouraged to reflect upon their week and also pick a charity in which they'd like to support in the following period.
So who are our customers? Well, we have split them up into two categories, which is basically early adopters and our future target customers. So the early adopters, as you can see on the slide, will be families willing to take that extra step to instill the value of generosity in their family and children through a proactive engagement with the community, and families and individuals who are actively conscious about others and humans' impacts of natural disasters. So who are our future long-term target customers that we want to expand into? Well, they are everyone and anyone with a smartphone. There are no restrictions to the amount anyone can contribute, and we just want to highlight that every small bit counts. So if we look here, we can see that $12.5 billion was donated by Australian families in 2016. So if we capture 1% of the 14.9 million Australian adults who have donated $12.5 billion, and we charge a 1% transaction fee to sustain operations, we would have an annual revenue of approximately 125 million. 1% transaction fee is vastly smaller than the transaction fees charged by companies such as Stripe and PayPal. So let's have a look at our current MVP. And hey Google, talk to Give a Jar.
Here's the test version of Give a Jar. Hello, thanks for opening your Give a Jar. You currently have $35 in savings, and our chosen charity for this month is Red Cross Australia. How can I help you today?
Add funds to Give a Jar.
You have added your pre-defined donation of $5. Well done and have a nice day.
Open Give a Jar.
You currently have $40 in your account.
Where does the money go?
This month, we are donating to the Australian Red Cross. You have donated $50 to the Wesley Mission last month. Keep up the good work and thank you for making the world a better place.
Change default amount to $2.
Done. Donation amount has changed to $2.
Yep, cool. So as we can see, this is leveraging the uptick in virtual assistant adoption and hands-free mobile navigation. We have developed a prototype using Google Speech API that addresses the concerns of sustainability for ad hoc donations in the long run, whilst allowing young families to teach their children the virtue of giving. So now let's have a look at the business model. So now that I've got you hooked, you might be asking, how much will I need to pay for an app like Giver? Well, the good news for all you Samaritans is that Giver will be absolutely free to download through the Google Play Store. And in order to sustain our platform and provide continuous support to allied charities, we'll be taking a small transaction fee on all transactions made through the app. We have already reduced the number of transactions using our fill and empty approach to allow more of the money that comes from your pockets directly to the charities in need quickly and efficiently.
Awesome. So we've established a base business model for our initial MVP, but to diversify our revenue streams, we first aim to target high-value, low-volume customers by partnering with corporations. So whilst enterprise companies seek to fulfill their sense of social responsibility, we will provide a gamified, company-wide opportunity for employees to engage with their families and compete to be the winning family amongst their colleagues. This will basically enable the corporations to increase their social responsibility and increase the amount of donations they're providing to the rest of their community. Additionally, one of the top reasons people are hesitant to donate is that they want to donate to their local community when they are in need. And donating to the Australian Red Cross, for example, may not necessarily represent may not be necessarily transparent or represent their desires. So this is why we aim to partner with local businesses to leverage community support as we roll out our platform to donate to any registered ACNC charity. Next slide, please. So for expenditure sources, we identified three main aspects of potential expenditures. Most of these are overestimations as opposed to underestimations. So for software developers, to be honest, we're just probably going to work on it ourselves as passionate developers seeking to build a revolutionary product. So there's definitely going to be no more than 50K for this financial year. Google Cloud hosting, that is free for not-for-profit organizations. There's a whole bunch of grants for other services as well. So that should be relatively low cost. And operational costs for organizing events, organizing outreaches, they should be kept relatively low because we're expanding firstly into a local market, which is very organic. Next slide, please. So the final aspect of this is we want to talk about what lies ahead, what lies in the 2020, 2021 and beyond. So 2020, we're going to focus on the beta testing our product, where we basically roll out an interface that enables everyone to have a look at what this encompasses, and also create a scalable CI/CD pipeline with the Kubernetes engine to basically roll it out to scale infinitely. We also intend on integrating with major charities such as the RFS and Australian Red Cross, and partnering with potential corporate businesses to establish a baseline for potential future partnerships. In 2021, we will intend on deploying across additional voice assistant platforms and partnering with any other local businesses involved to get this up and running.
Thank you very much, team. That's a really good job and great presentation and demonstration there. So that's all the time that we have for the presentations. So I'll just pass it on to the judges and to open up the Q&A session. Jasmine, did you have a question?
Yeah, thank you for a very shiny presentation. Around the voice application for it, what's stopping me from, while visiting my colleague's desk or my colleague's home, donating $100 on their behalf through their Google app to a charity?
Okay, so just to answer that question, so there's two barriers. One is slightly not so effective. The other is very. So as we all know, or actually, I'm not too sure if everyone knows, but basically Google Nest and Google Home has a voice recognition feature, which means that it'll only respond to commands which have like a specific voice profile. And surely, like you and your colleague don't share the same voice profile. So similar, such that like the algorithm will be like, wait, who's this? And the second barrier is that on Google Home, if you want to actually access an application, you can't just randomly say like, hey, donate $100 for me. You actually have to like follow a specific set of commands to enter the applications, and then can you donate. So in this case, it was talk to charity jar or talk to giver jar.
I might add as well that we do also intend on having a final line of defense. So in the emptying, when we envisaged this, we had a sort of method in which we envisaged this. So we would accumulate the funds and then have an emptying session on a either weekly, fortnightly or monthly basis. And during that session, families or individuals can review their transactions that they've made. And essentially that emptying is when we process the transaction in bulk.
Plus, you're helping your colleagues win.
Yeah.
Quick question on the, sorry, it's Ali here from IBM. Quick question on the funding. Are these funds going directly or are you holding them in some sort of trust? Where does this money go when they, well, deposit it through voice recognition? And yeah, where do they go?
Yep, so money doesn't actually come out of their account until they authorize it. And when it is authorized, like it's basically just a tally until they do authorize the payment. And when they do authorize the payment, it's just taken from their bank account through Stripe to ensure compliance and all of the other jazz that is necessary for payments, to ensure like safe payments and secure payments. So when we do take it, we will take it basically into our own account. But then that is like, I think there's a service called Stripe Connect, which allows you to be a third party broker between the provider, between the client and say the RFS or Red Cross or something.
Yep. So we're basically the master vendor, and the charities, all of the ACNC charities that do sign up with us, then they do become like the third-party brokers.
Okay, thanks guys. Quick one last question as well. You said at the beginning that this was aimed at being a swear jar, so you know, but then you're targeting families as your first early adopters. I feel like I would want to be swearing in front of my kids.
So if I can just clarify that. So a swear jar was the most relatable example that we felt that could be like relatable to everyone. But no, so just like how swearing, the swear jar, it basically prevents, or it puts a negative connotation to swearing. But for us, it's actually a positive reinforcement where every time you donate, you're doing something good and you're given feedback from like the applications, maybe through rewards, through achievements, or even just, you know, a message saying good job, something like that. So it's more of a positive reinforcement program. But yeah, just on that example of the swear jar, it was just, our team thought that it was relatable to the majority, if that makes sense.
Sure. Okay, thanks guys.
Alrighty, unfortunately that's all we have for times for the questions for our team right now. Thank you and good job guys. It was a great presentation and once again also an amazing demo as well. Great concept. So I'll now just pass on to our next team, which is Team Debugging. So
hello. Oh,
yeah, so if Team Debugging could prepare their slides and share screen.
Okay. I'll tell him where. Okay, can you see our screen?
No, I can't see your screen.
Yeah, now I can.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we start now?
So if judges, if you could just give me a thumbs up once you're ready. Okay. In that case, I think we might just begin. So team debugging, I'll start the timer when you start presenting and speaking.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Haesun Shim, and my team members are Yuhang, Wanchen, Zhao, and William Zhu. The problem we are addressing is finding fast and affordable accommodation for disaster victims who've lost their homes due to natural disasters that cause large-scale destruction of residential property. This problem also extends to the government's struggle against the constant shortage for emergency housing that is exacerbated in the event of catastrophic natural disasters. Without action, the forecast annual cost in real terms of natural disasters in Australia is expected to reach $23 billion by 2050. Our solution, Disaster Shelter, is a web-based platform that allows disaster evacuees to book the accommodation offered by many people in the general population who are willing to shelter disaster evacuees for a short period of time and free of charge. The user is instantly able to book accommodations that are close to their immediate location and are suitable for their family, offered by people that are willing to help without any government disaster relief agency intervention.
For our solution to be financially feasible, we intend to run ads from government agencies for services that may be helpful for the evacuee, or alternative housing ads to provide options of more permanent accommodation. The cost structure consists of developing the platform on a scalable website and also transitioning to a mobile application in the future to maximize accessibility from all devices. Another factor is collecting usage data and adding maintenance updates to the application to ensure any unintended bugs in the software are removed. The last factor is the time required to complete the task of selling the service to government buyers in order to receive government funding. This is because the goal of our product aligns with the New South Wales Department of Communities Bushfire Housing Assistance in providing emergency shelter. The plan for cost management that we have devised is to apply for government funding for this project. $2 billion are used for bushfire relief in 2020, and the government intends to increase the budget in response to criticism for their delayed response to our bushfires from 2019 to 2020. Our product is focused on fast response to providing emergency accommodation for natural disasters through instant matching and booking via our service. As our goals align, we intend to implement our service for the New South Wales Department of Communities Bushfire Housing Assistance, as well as other disaster relief agencies in return for funding for the project through the increased disaster relief budget. We've looked at the strengths and weaknesses of our product in more detail through SWOT analysis. We've found that our strength is that we're free and we provide faster booking compared to alternatives such as Airbnb. And this product will be the first dedicated disaster accommodation application that includes real-life geographical disaster updates through geolocation API. However, we do have the weakness of being dependent on volunteers and also threats of social media as an alternative free platform for volunteers to provide their accommodation for free. But as a dedicated platform, it becomes significantly more straightforward for volunteers to connect with evacuees through our solution. So we looked at potential risks and management strategy. We've also considered that conflict can happen between hosts and guests in their accommodation, as this is very commonly observed on short-term rental and leasing platforms such as Airbnb. To manage this risk, there is the option for the host to report their guest or the guest to report their host in the case of any conflict without the use of starred reviews. And a blacklist is kept for individuals that attempt to disrupt the intended operation of the service or abuse the service for their own personal gain. For scalability, in the case of increased demand in the future, we have found the most cost-effective options are multi-threading to increase server processing ability, increasing speed using a caching system, and also storing static data on a CDN to reduce server load in case of increased demand in the future.
You've just unmute there, hun.
Hey, Son, you're just on mute.
Sorry, I was muted. So now we will go through the demo of UI prototype and implement the MVP one by one. Let's take a tour of the prototype first. To see the whole process, how user will use our product. In the first time the user opens our product, click sign up and fill in the sign up forms. Let's say the first user is looking for a place for a refugee, so he is signing up as a guest. After sharing his location, he will see a map like this. These icons indicate fires nearby, and these green houses are available accommodations, while the white ones are unavailable ones, since they are too close to the fire. And to see the explanation of these icons, you can click here, this question mark. And also, this is the report button. User click here, and they can fill in this form to let us know what happened. Okay. So now let's choose one house from the green ones. So now I can see the details of this house. If I'm satisfied, I'll click book now and select the dates where how long I want to live and confirm this informations. And there it is. My book has been confirmed. So what we have implemented as an MVP is like this. Similar interface, we click sign up. We enter some of my information, click sign up. And in login session, we enter this information, login. And the browser will ask us to allow us to allow it to know the location. We allow it, and based on our current location, it will find the most available refugee near me. Here are the recommended areas around me. Let's choose Kensington. And now I can just pick any of the houses listed here. That's it.
Now let's move on to the backend side.
Yeah. Okay, for the backend side part.
We use Python and Flask to implement basically, and then to connect the front end and the backend side, we use REST APIs to handle the requests from the front end, such as post and get method in order to pass items to the logical component. And the Python functions class can perform their functions with these items. Next, in the logical layer, we use SQL Alchemy from Flask to communicate with the database and then enter query entries or update existing entries. For the database, we use Postgres, and we design our data model as relational database, and this is our data model. On top of possible scalability issues we talked before, we also concerned about the data security. So that's why we hash the passwords stored in our database. Thank you.
Alrighty, so thank you very much, team. That was a really good job. So I'll now open up the floor to our judges. Sarah, would you like to ask the first question?
Yeah, sure. So great presentation, guys, and thanks for the demo. It looks like you've got two different sides to your product there. You've got an app and a website. What sort of timelines are you looking at to get both of those completed? How long do you think it will take before you can put this in the hands of some users?
We reckon approximately 4 months will take, because in order, if we actually deploy this as a platform in a business model, we have to also consider the concurrency issue, because it's in terms of hosting wise, like in terms of natural disaster, we assume that the traffic will increase because there will be more users rather than the MVP. So we have to think about solving the issues first of all. So we assume for that. Is it unmuted? Oh, I can hear you.
Yep, no, that's all good. Okay, do we have another questions from our judging panel?
A quick question on how you are going to fund this model. You mentioned you were going to connect with government funding, but I imagine that the volunteers that are going to give their houses would be doing it willingly and for free. And obviously the evacuees may not have the money to pay for some. Is that correct? So in that case, how are you going to sustain the maintenance of this platform and scale it in future?
So for scaling, we found the most effective, cost-effective ways that we can. And the purpose of this platform really is to provide quick access to accommodation for people affected by catastrophic natural disasters where they lose their homes. As current government does fund disaster victims with rent money and also, but oftentimes since emergency accommodation there's a constant shortage of emergency accommodation at the moment. Oftentimes people get moved to evacuation centers. And in order to help with this, I think having a platform that connects people, firstly, people that want and have the capacity to help, and also people that need the help, instantly I think will help with this disaster relief in this case.
Sure, but so you're suggesting that the rent money that the government gives out for emergencies would go to the host or to you, or you would get a percentage? Sorry, I'm just not clear how you're funding it.
The rent money is granted to these families for their own, to use their own discretion, since they're the ones that are affected. But our platform is really to connect these people to accommodation for free, because there are a lot of people that would offer on social media platforms accommodation for people affected by disasters. And oftentimes social media platforms aren't very good for finding help, although they may be good for trying to give help.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty, so that wraps it up for our time for the Q&A session. Thank you, team. That was a really good job and a great demonstration as well. So in terms of the next and final team who'll be presenting for us is team #please give us internship, which we can all relate to. So I would just like Alvin and Rosanna to please start sharing the screens when they can and prepping.
Hello.
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 Hi.
So I literally just got a house blackout. I literally have no Wi-Fi, so I'm gonna use my 4G 4G on my phone. Sorry for this technical difficulties. Can you guys see me? I'm using a torch.
Yes, we can see you. Thank you for your resourcefulness.
Okay.
That's all good. So originally this team did have around 5 members, but unfortunately 3 of them dropped out. So there are only 2 members presenting today. But we are very proud of them for pursuing forward. So I'll just check to see judges if you guys are all ready. If you could just give me a thumbs up once you're ready.
Okay, can I have a quick mic check?
Yeah,
you guys
can hear you.
me? All right, can you guys see me? Yeah, all good.
Yes, we can see you.
All right.
I think
So funny. Why is this happening to me? Okay.
I think you should be ready now.
Just let me get a timer out, Alvin. Hold on. Oh wait, I can't get a timer out because my phone's dead. Let me get a timer on my phone. Just to get a start.
We'll be all good. We'll be timing it anyway. And just a reminder that we'll be giving with 1 minute to go and 15 seconds to go in the chat, so you can keep track. Okay. So in that case, is all the judges are ready? Yep. Yep, perfect. Once you get, when you guys are ready to present, I'll start timing and we can begin.
Cool. We're ready. Hi, everyone. So today we are going to present our solution to this hackathon, and our solution is a smoke mask advice website. And just to get started, so this is Rosanna. We've been talking so far, and then she is a third-year Bachelor of Civil Engineering and also first-year Bachelor of Computer Science, whereas I myself am a Bachelor of Data Science and Decisions. So as you can probably feel last year, the 2019 bushfires wasn't really the best thing that happened so far. I mean, I guess. So Rosanna, do you want to continue?
Yeah, so I think everyone knows Australia has a really bad bushfire season. 2019 in particular was super, super bad. And if you think about, just look at this graph, there's so many fires, but if you think about it, the smoke from these fires actually transfers to an even wider location than these specified regions, right? So next slide, please, Alvin. So what our mission, next slide, yep. So, So what our mission statement is to have an easy to use mask advice website, which targets the rural population, the older generation, and the general population, which can go on these websites. So if you look on the next slide, is that our problem right now is, next slide, please. Yeah, the problem right now is currently the data, oh no, the one before, the problem slide. Yeah, so currently the data for weather, humidity, ozone layer, regional smoke particle information, all these information is everywhere. And the spread of these data is going to be super confusing to particularly the older generation living in these rural areas, and people in general residing in rural areas who may not be as tech savvy and as up to date with like these 5Gs, these tech savvy skills as us living in Sydney. And these sites, in addition, just show data. They don't show advice. They just show numbers. And these and especially to asthmatic and immune compromised populations, you know, like they're gonna analyze these themselves. They're gonna see, is PM 2.4 like okay for me if I'm an asthma patient, like compared to like a normal person, right? I got to analyze these cells, and there's no current like advice for these like specific situations and specific populations. And this is going to be the current and future situations without our solution. So during and after 2019 bushfires, I guess you can see if you have asthma, you got to check every hour. You can see, go outside and breathe without suffocating. And if you may have a grandpa or grandparents living in the rural websites, they may like be really frustrated with all these numbers everywhere on the websites. No, they don't know how to open a new tab. You know, like they just want something simple and to navigate around. They don't want these numbers floating everywhere. So, you know, the current, if you see on the next slide, the current government population, just press click, Alvin, is just all these data is everywhere. It's completely everywhere. So this is what the rural people see, and this is what they get, and this is what they need to analyze day to day to see if they can go out, if the bushfires is okay, if the weather is okay. And it's literally everywhere. There's no specific website that shows it in one concentrated place. So next slide, please. And the next. And the next. Yep. So And so this is where our solution comes in. Our solution is going to be a really easy, straightforward website. And the only step one is to put in your region. Step two is just going to read the data and advice generated to your website. And Alan's going to demonstrate that for us.
Yes. So our website is built on a Python backend and also a simple front end from HTML. So as you can see here, sorry. So yes, so it currently just ask for where you live in. So let's say you live in Renwick, and when you press submit, it says it actually gives you the value. Oh wow! For the PM 2.5 particles, and it currently is at 0 particles in the last hour. And I guess what's is important about this is actually we also provided the official government advice based on the levels of the particles. So for now, it's sort of like enjoy normal activities. And I guess we also provide a more, I guess, personalized, advice, whether you should wear a mask. Let's say now if you're asthmatic and also if you're not asthmatic, then you don't really need to wear a mask. And because, you know, it's 0 particles. And we essentially got this data currently from the table that you've seen earlier, which is this. And yeah, so let's get back to the slide. And Nope.
Next. Yeah. So this is as you can see, this is the current advice page now. It's just going to show the air quality in Randwick. It's going to show the specific air particles in the air for the last hour, and it's going to show the official government advice, which is enjoy normal activities. It's also going to show us customized things. So advice if you're asthmatic and advice if you're not asthmatic. But if you look at the next page, this is where our potential and this is where our future features will be. So we aim to improve a better UX and UI interface. And we'll also have hourly data. But in addition, with this location, we're going to have a pop-up location selection. So right now, all these locations is you can only have it if the location has a sensor. So you can only do it if it's in Randwick, you can only do it if it's in Wollongong. But what if you live in Hurstville? What if you live in Campsie, right? You can't do that. So what we aim to improve in our future features is to have a pop-up box like your shopping cart, like when you're shopping and finding like the nearest like Woolies or something, right? You can put in Campsie and it's going to pop up the nearest censored locations. So you can click on what's around me, Cogra, what's around me like St. George, what's around me like Banksia, right? And you can select selected sensors in there. Another improvement is we're going to have catered advice to compromised groups. And we're also going to have regional data in one page instead of scattered data everywhere. If you look on the next slide, our future potential is going to be like location sensors. So the government can identify where to put more localized sensors if there's a lot of search, right? And we're also going to have masks helping. So we can help people access the correct mask and help them identify what masks they need. Do you need a surgical mask? Do you need like an N95 mask? And we're also going to have collaborations with hospitals for specialized advice and also customized forecast if the wind is moving towards your town, which is really useful for bushfire season. So if you look at the next slide, Alvin's going to explain the business side to you.
Right, so as the criteria suggests, there are 3 things that we need to focus on. And most importantly, I think it's the financial feasibility. And I think for this current website, it is not such a big cost to establish and maintain. And I feel like the revenue that we can get is usually from general banner ads. So it's pretty simple. But then I guess we can also have mask ads. So where to buy the masks. So I guess maybe Amazon, if they want to sponsor us, it will be there. And I guess most importantly, we can also provide have partnerships with regional town, and that's how we can have funding. And I think the challenges that we can face is also like, let's say just now I was having a table and picking a value from the table, and sometimes government website changes, and maybe we can also work with the government. And I guess with scalability, there are a lot of more features that Rosanna have talked about. And I guess we can also sort of add more cities, maybe Melbourne, maybe also compatibility and things like that.
So Alvin, if you click on the next slide, this is our planning stage, and the next slide, and the next slide, Alvin. And the next one. So hopefully this is after the storm, but it's actually after the bushfire, which is the future of a solution. So the asthmatic people can know when to go out today, and the older generation can just log into this really easy to use website and just put in their location and just see the data everywhere. So they can check the weather, they can check the humidity, and they can check everything. And thank you for listening to our presentation.
Last but not least, please give us internships.
Thank you guys. Great job there. And very resourceful as well. So I'll now open up the floor to our judges so we can have our final Q&A session before we send you off to deliberate and make a decision. Scott, did you have a question?
Sure. Thanks for a great presentation. Do you have more information about specific cost breakdown of running this service?
Yeah, so Alvin, if you could share the slides with the business part again.
Right, yep. Let me just share my Safari. Yes, so I guess for now, it's only like a simple web hosting website that we can have. So maybe I think that ranges for just $10 a month in some web hosting services. And yeah, I think when we have more traffic, and then when we need to add more capabilities in terms of more cities, then I think also the costs will increase at that point.
I think just also adding on to Alvin's point, compared to like other projects, this is just a really simple website that you can also go on your phone on Safari and you can go on your website yourself, right? And it's not like you don't have to pay for it. It's really easy to add in. And I guess with revenue coming in, we can have general banner ads, we can have mask ads and things relating to these. And we can also have partnerships with regional towns and the like Australian National Bushfire Service or like the government themselves, because I think this website is going to be really useful for the government to see which particular region is going to have which particular region is searching for more like information, and they can actually install a sensor there as well. So I think we can also have partnerships which can also improve the costs for our project. But in general, it's a very low maintenance cost to establish and maintain in general.
Thanks so much. And just to confirm, so you're heading actual data?
Yes.
So it is this current data. So if we look at Wollongong, let me search it up. It is currently 22, I believe. I guess it's yeah.
Thanks so much.
Alvin. Yeah. So it's like current data updated hourly, and that reflects on our websites themselves.
Hi guys, excellent. I love the simplicity of your idea. How do you think that you would reach your customers and or your users, and what are your channels to reach them? And what does your competitive landscape look like?
So I'll take that for first of all, is so far the competitive landscape right now is there actually isn't. So we actually did some market research, and I think there's a lot of competition in the sense that everything is everywhere, but nothing is in one page like ours. And that is what makes our one special. Because if you want to look at whether it's on BOM, if you want to look at humidity, it's on another government website. If you want to look at masks, it's on another website. But our website is going to be bring all of these together in one region. And also other websites, you have to look for your location, and there isn't a specialized search that you can just type in it yourself. And that is like in terms of competition. I missed your first question though, sorry.
It was about channels to market, how you think that you would, communicate to those people in regional areas and so forth that, your website existed and here was the value.
I guess to add on to the initial question, actually last year, I think I needed to know the smoke level. I actually needed to go to one of the newspapers, I guess articles, in order to see what levels is it and whether I actually should wear a mask. But to answer your second question, I think we will actually be targeting using like a Facebook ads so that it will appear in your feed and things like that. I think these days Facebook has a lot of users in Australia and even in regional towns. So I think that will be our best option to go.
Yeah, and we also plan on contacting Rotary clubs and community clubs, because in these rural areas such as like Wollongong, Wagga Wagga, like Burunga, right? Even if the older generation don't have social media, if we contact these Rotary clubs, these community clubs and these rural areas have a really large community focus, right? So we can also contact them and let the older generation know by using that, and also the newspaper, because like seeing these different like functions that they use, we can use this to target the rural areas and use like social media to target the more modern and metropolitan areas.
Alrighty, thank you so much, guys. Once again, great presentation, great answers to all the questions there. So that wraps up both the time that we have for your presentation and all the teams, all the finalists that we had from our competition. So now it's probably the most critical moment that we do have, and it's time for our judges to, well, make our decisions and deliberate. So how this is going to work, I'm going to add our judges into a breakout room. So please accept the invitation to join. And yeah, so if you're a judge, please accept the invitation that I'm about to send out. If you are another member in the call and an invitation comes up for you to join a room, please press later and don't join that room. So just so you can stay within here. Alrighty, so I'll just open them all up now. Perfect. In the meantime, just while our judges deliberate to make a decision, which will occur over the next 10-15 minutes, we'll just have our landing page up. I think Felicia could share screen again and share audio, and it won't be too long. You guys can go and come back, or just wait around until we start our concluding ceremony.
All right, I'm back. Oh, Gabby, I think you're on mute.
I'll just give you the host permissions, Viv.
Cool, thank you.
That's right. And you can just make sure that you assign me into the room so I can go and join.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, you should be assigned.
Perfect.
Yeah, I can't tell how loud is the music right now.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I test the thing?
Oh, wait, probably don't test it.
Okay, what if it's too loud?
Do you have another device? Or maybe you can like stop sharing the music and then play it and then come back.
Okay, I will do that. Sorry, there's really a break in the music.
It will be distracted.
I think it's okay.
Okay. Felicia, if you just want to reload the slides, but just not change the slide.
I think it should have worked.
Yeah, okay, so alrighty, Felicia, I think we're all ready to begin now. So we can turn down the volume. Alrighty, so thank you guys all. Thank you to everybody for participating, getting involved, dedicating your time, spending the weekend, working towards a product and working towards a solution. There's so many people who have gone to organizing this, but we just like to just extend once again another huge congratulations to all the students who participated across all teams. It was such high quality work. And also just a huge thank you as well to all the judges and mentors that have volunteered their time over the weekend. And those have also the MCIC and Aaron from JA Australia for the volunteering their time for the pitching workshops and the design thinking and lean canvas workshops. So for the moment that we all have been waiting for, and without any further ado, we are going to announce the top 3 teams. So it was very tight and we had some great discussions, but we'll start with 3rd place, which is IP Woman. So congratulations to IP Woman for coming in 3rd. I think, yes, if you could all give a round of applause. Thank you. So in 3rd place, you guys have won a medium Google swag bag for each team member, $100 to split amongst the whole team, and some amazing WIT merchandise. So really good job, guys. We're very impressed. Fine. Alrighty. So next in 2nd place was team. Alrighty. So it was team Debugging. Congratulations, everybody. Really good job. Okay. So in terms of what you've won in 2nd place is a resume review from the Google team for each team member, and 1 medium Google swag bag as well for each team member, in addition to some WIT merchandise. So really good job. We're very impressed. And finally, the moment that we've all been waiting for is our 1st place participants. So a huge congratulations and a really good job to Team Spearfish. Congratulations, you guys have come first in the hackathon. Really good job. So you guys have won a Google Nest Mini for each team member, a virtual coffee catch-up for the whole group with the Google Talent and Outreach team, a small Google swag bag for each team member, and of course, some lovely WIT merchandise. So a huge congratulations to you guys. We're very impressed, and just a great job all around for all the hard work and time that everybody has invested in this. So I'll now pass on to Vivian Wong to start with our closing remarks as we head into our closing ceremony. I think Vivian Wong will speak first, and then we'll pass on to the founders.
Yeah, sure thing. Okay, so really quickly, just like to thank all the participants for you guys all for participating in our very first online hackathon. I'd like to thank all the mentors, judges, and speakers from Google, Atlassian, IBM, 9, UNSW founders, JA Australia, and RRT Assessments for helping us make this hackathon possible. And also like to congratulate all the participants for their hard work during this hackathon. So as we mentioned earlier, this final round and closing ceremony is being live streamed. So you can find a link to the recording in the Zoom chat that Felicia will send through right now. And additionally, if you have any feedback you want to share, Felicia will also be sending through a link as well. So with that said, hope you all enjoyed and learned a lot from our hackathon. I hope to see you all at our upcoming events, and we'll be ending the live stream soon.
So we'll just pass on to Kristen from the Founders Program from MCIC. So we worked quite closely with the MCIC in producing the in the build up to the workshop, in the build up to the hackathon, in organising our design thinking and lean canvas workshops for the participants. So if Kristen, you just want to unmute and give a brief talk.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations to all the teams. What you've achieved in such a short amount of time is mind-blowing, really. I'm Kristen Phillips from the UNSW Founders Program, and I manage a program called New Wave. New Wave empowers women to build entrepreneurial skills and launch women-led startups. So you can apply as teams or as individuals, and I'll match you up with some co-founders, and you don't even need an idea to apply. It's an intensive 2-week program, which we run in the term breaks for UNSW students, staff, and alumni who identify as women. The second and final cohort for 2020 will kick off on the 31st of August. And over this 2-week period, we'll help you validate your ideas and find viable business models. We'll teach you innovative thinking and startup techniques. We'll provide you with some awesome industry-leading mentors, and you'll have the chance to pitch at our New Wave Showcase event for $2,500 worth of prizes. And yeah, the applications for the next program will close on 31st of July. I'll post some links in the chat and my email. If you have any questions or want to come along to our info session next week, I'll post the link. Thank you for having me, Women in Technology crew. You're awesome, and this was a great event. Congrats to the winners.
Thank you very much. So yeah, just as the Laura's most recent chat there, for the teams that are in the finalist rounds, please do not hesitate, and please be active in reaching out with all the judges on LinkedIn and asking for feedback that way. Otherwise, if you can also reach out to us and give us a and let us know if you would like any other specific feedback from any part of the program. So once again, thank you all very much. And please feel free to continue with the entrepreneurial spirit that we've probably developed throughout this hackathon in applying things like in the New Wave program and taking all your products at one step further. Would be really great. Alrighty, well, otherwise, please feel free to reach out to any of the mentors as well. If the judges, yep, thank you to Aaron and Ali for putting their LinkedIn in the chat, just so it's very easy for everybody to reach out and connect with them. But yes, so that's otherwise that concludes our weekend hackathon, and thank you all very much. We're all very impressed, and we can't wait to see you at either our future events or our next annual hackathon in 2021, hopefully in person.
Hey, Wit, I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So is there like a feedback form, just like the preliminary thing, or
yep, so all feedback from the
we need to
preliminary
ask
round,
every judge for every feedback in a way?
Feedback, as per the Slack message that we sent out, all feedback has been provided in your Google Drive folder. So the feedback forms that the judges are marking against for the preliminary round can be found in your Google Drive.
But as would there be a sheet? Huh?
Oh, pardon?
Oh, sorry. As in, would there be a feedback sheet for the final round, just like there was a feedback sheet for the prelim?
No. So please, if you would like specific feedback, yeah, you can reach out to us, any of the judges. Yeah.
Okay, coolies. Thank you.
Oh, good. And we might just outro with the founders next wave video.
New Wave instills founder confidence. We've been incredibly inspired by the efforts that these teams have put into their 11 startup ideas over the last 2 weeks. We've had 12 fully online workshops, ranging from design thinking to branding with Canva to MVP development and pitching workshops. And we couldn't have done it without the help and support of the brilliant founders team and some very highly respected international and local facilitators and guest speakers.
We've got everyone from, second year students who are kind of fresh into university and just finding their way, all the way up to mums who are managing homeschooling as well as doing this New Wave program. It's incredible.
The thing I enjoyed the most about participating in New Wave was to learn so much content about things that I would never have been able to learn outside of my degree. So personally, I'm a business student, but being able to learn about, design principles and deal with applications and a lot of concepts in 2 weeks was really exciting.
What I liked most was developing this comprehensive thinking when you address the problem and you try to find a solution that's going to be feasible.
What surprised me most about this journey was my flexibility and ability to adapt.
What really surprised me about myself was that I can take in so much in 2 weeks or even less than that.
A brand is so much more than the visual elements of your business. The color you choose does say something about you as a person. I think it's really important to see if you can reinforce what your purpose and values and all of the other work you've done by your choice of color.
What I want you to walk away with today is the knowledge of how to create a dev-ready document. So how you can actually hand that to any kind of developer and they can actually start building for you.
At the end of the day, for someone in business, someone wants to really want what you have to offer, and then they have to believe that you can deliver that.
I think out of all of the programs that I mentor in, this is perhaps one of my favourites. And the actual reason for that is that the ideas generally tend to be really unique and different. And these young women bring something really different to the table. And I think it's actually just because they're given a voice.
The element that I enjoyed most about coming to New Wave is actually meeting a wide variety of people coming from all different backgrounds. My team is composed of 4 individual or enthusiastic and aspiring women from all different faculties.
It's just wonderful to see how these women are dedicating themselves to finding problems that they see around them and bringing out solutions. I'm so excited to see where they go after this program. Really, that's such an amazing 2 weeks.
Alrighty, thank you everybody. Once again, just a huge thank you for everyone for helping out throughout the organization and execution of the hackathon. We'll be ending our live stream now, and we look forward to seeing you at future WIT events.